Hey y'all, back for 2 at a time socks. This is Improv Knits. My name is Bride. I've got our contrasting sock yarn that I'm going to use, and our number 3 needles, and our 30-inch cable. But if you give me just a second, I want to show you something neat that I figured out. How to get your variegated or your striped sock yarn to match up. Okay? We're going to pull a little bit out from one ball. And we're going to pull a little bit out from the next ball. Okay? And we're going to find a spot where the colors line up. Okay? We're going to pull it out for one entire color change. Okay? And what you do is once you get through the entire color change, you get to a spot where all the colors match up. You pick a spot, and that's where you start. And you start at the same spot on both socks, or roughly the same spot. You know, you can go a centimeter either way. Not that far. You don't want to like start one way over here and then start one way over here, because then it won't match up. But if you're close, like within a centimeter of like this space here, if you're a centimeter on either side, it'll still match up. So that's neat. That's something I wanted to pass on. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our needles, and if you can see my yarn, I wanted to do that so you guys knew which one I was working on when. We're going to take our needles, hold them the same way we did when we're casting on one. We're going to pull out some yarn. We're going to lay it over this one. Okay? Then we're going to twist it. Same way we did the last time. So we got an X in the back. Okay? We're going to go and lock those stitches in. Okay? Now we're going to cast on just like we did for a single. Okay? Oh, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and for these purposes, we'll go with 10. So see, we've got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we've got that orange one cast on for the most part. Now we're going to push it down, but we're not going to push it off the needles, just down. Okay? We're going to take this one, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay? Just like we did the last time. Yarn tail goes out that way. This yarn goes this way. We put it over the one in the back, make the X, and we cast on the exact same way. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whoops, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we got it. So we're going to turn around and turn our work. Okay? We're going to do the same thing we did on a single sock. We're going to take our tail, bring it around, hold on to it. Okay? We're going to pull out our bottom needle, put it through, and we're going to knit across. Okay? Right straight on across. Now we caught that little piece there, so we're going to flip that off of there, because that little guy don't need to be on there. So we're going to go right on across. If you guys noticed in my sock heel video, I was using this same method. I was using the 2 at a time. And I always knit my socks toe up, so, because it's easier for me. I suck at Kitchener stitch. Alright, so once again, we've got our tail. We bring it around. And then we've got our working yarn here, because we're working with this yarn now. Okay, so let's, yarn barf, sorry. Okay, we've wrapped it around, we've brought it up. So we're going to start knitting across on this one. Okay. Just like before, we're going to drop our needle, pull it all back through, and then we're going to turn our work around. Okay? Now, if we look, our yarn tail's back here, and our working yarn is up here. So we have kind of a general idea of where we're at. Okay? So we're going to pull this one out. Okay? Go through and knit all the way across this sock, and then all the way across the back side of the other sock. Okay? Mommy's working. No touchy touchy.
And pink. Orange and pink.
Mm-hmm.
And they sock.
Those are mommy's socks, silly
Mommy
puppa.
socks.
Okay. See, we've got the first one.
This one.
Hush. Now we're going to do the second. Don't run off with my yarn.
You can roll it.
No, don't touch it. Now please go.
Don't touch it.
No touchy touchy. I'm going to go.
You go.
All the way across.
Over across.
Would you hush?
Over across.
Go watch Eleanor.
Oh yeah. My use.
Okay. Don't mind Big. He came in here to see what I was doing.
This is my animal. I hear you someone the one.
See, now we're almost through both socks. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drop this top one. We're going to pull it on through. We'll pull up that needle a little bit so we don't lose our work. Because I've had that happen before. And it sucks. I bawled. I will admit that. I cried. Okay. We're going to pull them up here and separate them just a little bit so you can see what I'm going to do.
And this spot.
Okay. Now this is the stage where we tighten them up. Don't kick me.
Oops, sorry. Oops, sorry.
So we get a hold of our needles, just like we would before. Grab our yarn tail and tighten. Okay? And we want to make sure that they're both on the needles for this. Otherwise, we're going to have an awful time getting them back up on the needles. So we tighten them as much as we can. Okay? Then once again, just like before, we're going to tuck our tail in. And we're going to take our working yarn, pull our needle through, and we're going to do an increase row on this side. Okay? Because we've already knit around the first row. So we're going to do an increase row on this side. We're going to knit, and then we're going to knit front back, And then we're going to knit to 2 before the end, which would be there. Okay? See how we're doing this?
Bobby. I'll put you away.
Okay? See, 2 before the end, knit front back. There we go. Now we got to work this one. Okay? We do essentially the same thing here. We tuck the tail, and we just go right on into knitting this first round, this first increase round. Knit front back. So we knit 1, knit front back, knit to the last 2, knit front back, knit 1. Okay? That's how we do our increase rows. Knit front back, knit 1.
1, 2, 3.
And then we do the same thing on the other side.
ISI.
Knit 1,
Knit 1.
knit front back.
And front back. Get closer to broken. Yeah. Get
Knit to
closer.
2 before the end.
Knit to 3.
Right there. Knit front back. And from here, it's essentially the exact same thing as knitting 1, but we've got 2 on the needles. Okay? See, knit 1, knit front back, knit around to 2 before the end. We're using this essentially the same movements and the same stitches as we did before, but instead of having just 1 sock on the cable,
Grandma.
we have 2. Okay? Oh, get on there. And then the next would be knit around, and then the increased row following. And it goes essentially the same way all the way around until we have our sock toes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these going, and I will meet you back here in 5 minutes or so. Not much further in, but increase row, and it keeps going the same way a standard sock toe would. Yeah. Knit 1, knit front back, knit to 2 before the end. So after the cast on, it is essentially the same. Now your yarn will get wound around, so it's really a good idea to have a good yarn bowl or a yarn butler or 2 different bowls or a bag or something that you can keep your yarn together in, that will allow it to move around each other but won't bind up on you, because that's a pain in the butt, trust me. So here is how we do 2 sock toes on one cable. It's not that difficult. If you can do one sock toe, you can probably do two. The only difference is you have to remember to keep them both up on the needle when you tighten them up in the beginning. Here in just a minute, I will show you how to do two pairs of socks, how to cast them on and get them going. Okay? That'll be the next one. Alright, so see, we have our two nifty little sock toes. They will be exactly the same as the single sock toe, and you'll see in the multiples video that at this stage they all look the same. So, okay, that was 2 at a time socks, toe up. Because, let's be honest, I suck at the Kitchener stitch. Alright. You like what you see, and it's easy to follow what I'm doing here. Give me a like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye-bye.